We tend to think of people who prefer their own company as, I don't know, quiet, maybe a little antisocial. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if that's not a weakness at all? Today, we're diving into the psychology of genuinely enjoying solitude and exploring why it might just be a profound strength.
Come on, you know that feeling, right? That text buzzes in, plans are suddenly off, and instead of being disappointed, you feel this little spark of joy. An entire evening, poof, it's all yours again. That feeling right there, that's the perfect place for us to start. For the longest time, society has pretty much hammered into us that wanting to be alone is linked with being sad or having social anxiety. But what if there's a completely different side to that story? Well, modern psychology is now suggesting that choosing solitude can actually be a sign of some serious mental and emotional strength. Okay, so to really get this, we have to start with the single most important distinction of all, the difference between being alone and being lonely. They might sound like the same thing, but psychologically, oh, they are worlds apart.
Just look at the contrast here. Loneliness. That's a feeling of lack, right? It's that painful feeling that you're missing a connection. And it's not something you choose. It just feels empty. But solitude, that is a conscious, deliberate choice. It's about intentionally making space just for you. And that space feels full and meaningful. It's the difference between being left out and choosing to step back.
So, what gives a person the ability to choose that fulfilling solitude over feeling lonely? Well, it all starts with the very foundation of their personality, a really strong sense of self. Psychologists, of course, have a name for this, a stable self-concept. But all that really means is that your identity is solid from the inside out. Who you are doesn't flip-flop depending on who you're with, and you definitely don't need other people to feel like a whole person. And this is how you can see it play out in the real world. People with this stable self-concept, they just feel grounded. They're totally cool with making decisions based on what they're actually interested in, not just going along with what the group wants. And that, right there, makes them incredibly good at resisting social pressure.
This quote absolutely nails it. When you already feel complete on your own, you're not looking for other people to fill some kind of void inside you. Social time becomes something you choose to enjoy, not something you desperately need.
Now, this strong sense of self naturally leads to another key trait, a really powerful psychological drive for what's called autonomy, or to put it simply, the freedom to just be you.
Psychologists talk about autonomy as a fundamental human need, this feeling that we're in control of our own lives, that we're steering our own ship. For people who thrive in solitude, this isn't just some casual preference. It's a core need, and their alone time helps them meet it.
I mean, think about it. The freedom to decide what you want to do, where you want to go, when you want to rest, all without having to negotiate or deal with social obligations. For someone who values autonomy, this isn't a luxury, it's a deep source of mental peace and comfort.
This brings us to a really cool idea. How spending time alone actually helps you build this quiet, unshakable kind of confidence from the inside.
It all comes from what's known as an internal locus of control. It sounds a little academic, but it's a powerful belief. It's the feeling that you are the author of your own story. What happens in your life depends on what you do, not on luck or fate or what other people think.
So how do you actually develop this? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. When you spend time by yourself, you're kind of forced to rely on your own wits. You face a challenge, you figure it out on your own, and with every little problem you solve, you build this quiet, unbreakable trust in yourself.
And this is the result. Instead of constantly looking outside yourself for approval, likes, comments, praise, your sense of self-worth comes from within. It's the difference between feeling empty when no one is clapping for you and having this steady internal glow of knowing your own value.
And let's be real, in our super-connected world, this is a superpower. It means you're less likely to feel like you have to perform for an online audience. You realize that the most meaningful moments are the ones you fully live in, not the ones you broadcast just to get a reaction. And that protects your sense of self from all that constant social comparison. So, let's bring it all down to earth. What's the ultimate day-to-day benefit of all this? It really boils down to one thing: protecting your peace. I want you to think of your emotional and social energy like the battery on your phone. It's got a finite charge, right? Every interaction, every social event, it drains that battery a little bit. Solitude is how you plug yourself back in and recharge. It's just a really smart energy management strategy. And here's what that looks like in practice.
People who really value their solitude, they're incredibly intentional. They'd rather have a few deep, high-quality connections than a massive social circle that just leaves them exhausted. They limit who gets access to their energy, and they focus it on what brings them calm, not what brings them chaos.
So, if you're listening to this and nodding along, if you're someone who craves that time alone, the big takeaway here is simple. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. It is not a flaw. It does not mean you're antisocial or broken.
In fact, it's the opposite. It's a sign of independence, of self-awareness, and of huge emotional strength. It shows that you have a strong sense of who you are and you know what you need to be your best self. So the final question here isn't about whether being alone is good or bad. It's this: how can you stop feeling guilty for needing that space and instead start using that powerful, intentional solitude to build the life that you truly want?